Right, hi guys. I've got a bit of a problem with Blender. I'm using 2.292, which is at the time of doing this is the latest version, and it's almost certainly my utter lack of understanding of Blender. Really, I'm a complete newbie on it. I do a lot of 3D modeling, but not in Blender in it. So anyway, what we've got this hopefully demonstrates what I'm doing or what I'm maybe doing wrong. So I've got a simple model I've created which has got three components. You'll notice that deliberately these two components don't line up with any of the global axes. This one does. So, and I've also made it such that this has got a sloping face, again deliberately. Now this has been imported from CAD, and all of the origins of the components come in by default at 0, 0, okay, which is where that is. So if I click on that, it's 0, 0. That one's 0, 0. Now this one I've moved, okay, so I've changed the origin. So I'm quite happy with changing the origins. I know how to do that and so on. So anyway, what I'm really trying to do and use Blender for is to actually animate the assemblies I'm making. So here's a simple animation that I've made here. So if I just scroll through, it starts at 0, it goes up. Oh, and it goes up that line. That was important. So I figured out how to do that. So it goes up that line, and then it rotates about that axis. So it rotates about that axis through whatever, and then when it's done that, it rotates about that axis. So it does a couple of rotations. So all very sort of simple stuff, right? So here's my problem. So what if I now want to rotate this about that axis as part of the animation? So if I just select it, so here's the animation stuff going on here. So it gets to there, and basically what I would normally do is I'd go to here to set I'm going to set a new keyframe. Right now the problem appears to be that this rotation, this gizmo, that's where it's going to rotate about. Well, I don't want it to rotate about there. I want it to rotate about here, up here. Now I've already moved, I think I've moved anyway, the 3D cursor to that axis system. And in fact, you can kind of see that the 3D cursor's following that. I've got these things set up here. I tend to use this 3D cursor option for rotation. So what appears to go on though is when you do this, the gimbal, or not the gimbal, it's called the gizmo, isn't it? The gizmo XYZ axis will align with the 3D cursor, which is what I want, but its origin doesn't. Its origin doesn't move. The only way, it seems to me, to get the origin of this gizmo to there is to move the physical origin of the object up to there. Now you might think, yeah, well that's easy to do, and it is easy to do. However, if you move that origin to there, it totally screws up the animation for the other steps, because the other steps are assuming the origin is there. So I'll demonstrate. So while I've got this thing here, it is object transform, isn't it? No, it's not. Set origin to 3D cursor, right? So you set the 3D cursor there, and you do your rotation about that axis like that, and you think, yeah, great, that's exactly what I want. You now insert a keyframe at that point, and you think, yeah, that's it, job done. Well, unfortunately it isn't, because it's now completely screwed up the animation, because all the origin has changed. So all these other operations here are, well, garbage now. So if I roll it back, it's now not doing what it's supposed to do. You know, it's complete garbage. I've screwed up the animation because I've moved the origin. I mean, the final position is right, but nothing else is right. And I also get this effect where, you know, you position the final thing correctly, but the rotation, the interpolation between is wrong, because the origin, you know, if that origin is not on that axis, the whole thing's screwed. Anyway, you can see hopefully what I'm getting at. If I Control Z out of that a couple of times, something, I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it. So So there's the problem, really. You know, there's the animation that I want. Let's just move it into a better view. You know, it goes up the line of the face like that, which is what I've defined. It goes up that line, then it does a rotation, and then it does a rotation. Now, the way I did those was I had to move the origin to that point, and I had to do it before I started any animation. It seems to me that you can't change the origin of any of the points once you start animating. Now, that's no good, because there's always going to come a time where you need to change that origin. So I must be doing something inherently wrong here, because there's no way that you can't do this. So yeah, hopefully that demonstrates the problem. Yeah, so up, rotate, rotate. Okay, so now I want to rotate about a different axis altogether, but I need to rotate about the different axis without changing the origin. Now, I did kind of get there by some other means. I can't remember exactly what I did now, but unfortunately, the rotation itself, it seems to always act about the origin. Well, of course it probably would do, because that's all it knows. Anyway, hopefully that sort of makes some sense. So, you know, effectively what I'm trying to do, just in summary again, is go up, along, and rotate. Okay, so now I want to change the rotation. I want to rotate about that axis. Object, set origin to 3D cursor, and I want my animation to show that, but in conjunction with the other operations I've just done, and it just doesn't work, basically. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I must be doing something wrong, definitely, but I don't know what. So any help would be appreciated. Okay, thanks, cheers, bye.